Bam! We ready?
Mm-hmm.
On this episode of the Culture Smash Cast,
we might be going to theater soon, but Universal might not be.
April showers might bring May comics.
HBO.
What?
I don't know.
No.
Missed it.
Yeah, see, Tina, probably you should have went last.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
You sandwiched the weakest one in the middle.
Exactly. Here we go. It's the Culture Smash Cast, episode 521 for April 29, 2020. I'm Stephen Lackey, editor of Culturesmash.tv, and Nico.
Nicholas Qualls, contributor to Culturesmash.tv.
Tina.
Tina Heimbach, contributor to Culturesmash.tv.
Nathan.
Nathan Savino, contributor to Culturesmash.tv.
Zach.
Zach Martin, a bored dumbass.
And welcoming back to the show again,
Michelle Jenkins, hi.
We should make like a founding fan button or something to send to Michelle. You need a founding fan button for Culture Smash.
How am I a founder? How long have you been doing the show?
Well, you're the fan that's been around the longest, though. That we
No way.
Longer than me?
We started.
Yeah,
I started in 09.
Yep.
Oh,
And
wow.
we were in the double digits at that point, like
Mhm.
50s.
Yeah,
or something,
2011.
40s.
Yep.
That's so crazy.
It is.
So I'm just imagining a
Yes.
paper fan with a powdered wig on it. So that's what you're going to get. I'm going to draw it. You're going to get a paper fan with a powdered wig.
All right. I like that.
It's happening.
I like it.
You don't have to show that again, Steven. We
Me-
know.
Still got the post-it note on
Nah.
it. Right?
He ain't looking. He doesn't get to see it.
The
Uh,
BS
I-
pinball.
I know that there is a script,
I'm the champion.
but I have a question.
Yes.
So now that, thankfully, and I think they should change the word VOD, because it's not a cassette video, it's a streaming product. So although that would spell SOD, SOD.
It is.
But-
It is an abbreviation that's used though.
It's SVOD.
Yeah.
Okay, so are you guys gonna still play if it doesn't?
Oh, excuse me. It's
Basically-
PVOD.
I think
Are we gonna still play?
Okay.
What does that
Will
mean?
you
Film
still
ball.
play the film ball, even if it's just now streaming?
Oh,
Well, it's not going to just theaters
Yeah.
do open at some point.
Yeah, theater's going to open. It just means we definitely can't play the summer for sure. We'll have to see what the fall holds for us.
$100 on Tenet.
But what if you do like a special one? Do they have the amounts of how much it's
No.
making?
No.
No,
okay.
in fact, our article
They don't.
goes over this, but basically
Okay.
the numbers
sorry,
it releases
sorry.
the first time
A VOD
that I
number's
know
been
of.
released.
of
I
numbers
see.
being released.
Yeah.
Is
There's
there-
not
they
a
have to be
defining
right.
body. Yeah, there's not a defining body for VOD that
They always just say,
catalogs
"Oh,
and
the
does
numbers
that.
are good,"
Yeah.
and that's,
I'm sure they're
yeah.
making bank.
And Zach and I,
Yeah.
with Family of Fear, we know pretty much how this stuff works because we're in it now. And yeah, you're lucky if iTunes will even tell you sold something. To be honest, I mean
Really?
iTunes is the worst.
Why? Wouldn't you want to tell the creator of the content what the numbers are?
You would think, but that requires manpower, and that
Yeah.
requires time, and that time
Mhm.
requires
I
money.
see.
Yeah.
We're not in the business of spending money; we're in the business of making.
Making
Well,
it.
and I'm going to be honest. I feel like sometimes they delay reporting because they want to sit on that money. Because we have no way to know unless they tell us what purchases were made and stuff like that. And I'm sure when you're in a multi-million-dollar situation, it's different. But still, it's like there's not a regular way of recording that. That we can be competitive. Let's get into it. Let's get into the story since we're already talking about this. Nico, isn't that you?
All right. Well, here we go. So as we talked about a bit, I am talking. Can you hear me?
I
Yes.
can, in fact, hear you.
Hello?
Yep, we got
Yes.
Oh, okay. I think there's a lag still.
you. There was for a
'cause I-
second, but you popped in.
Okay. All right. Well, the ongoing coronavirus. Yes.
Bailey's.
Just having a cocktail while you read.
Okay. Starting at the top. The ongoing coronavirus crisis has not been easy on movie studios, as we talked about, and movie theaters as well. But it's especially hard on movie theaters as studios opt to release some of their previously upcoming films straight to digital media. AMC Theaters has had to furlough all 600 of its corporate staff, with the endpoint unclear, yet they've made the bold decision that upon reopening, they will no longer show any Universal Pictures films. No Fast and the Furious, no Jurassic World, and etc. Why? Well, as we've been talking about, film studios have been releasing some of their stuff direct to video. Universal, in particular, released the CGI kids films Trolls World Tour. Theaters were closed and Universal had to sell toys. Well, the studio revealed on Tuesday that the film took in $100 million on premium VOD rentals in its first 3 weeks, which is close to being profitable. In the Wall Street Journal, Jeff Shell of Universal is quoted in saying, quote, "The results of Troll World Tour have exceeded our expectations and demonstrated the viability of PVOD. As soon as theaters reopen, we expect to release movies on both formats." And that's the point, as movie theaters believes this kind of dual release method will cut into profits. As such, AMC shot across the bow of Universal as AMC CEO Adam Aron announced, quote, "Going forward, AMC will not license any Universal movies in any of our 1,000 theaters globally on these terms," end quote. AMC is the largest theater chain in the country, and it's found some support in the second largest, Cineworld, which is the owner of Regal. Regal released a statement to Deadline, quote, "Today we make it clear again that we will not be showing movies that fail to respect the windows, as it does not make any economic sense for us. We have full confidence in the industry's current business model. No one should forget that the theatrical side of this industry generated an all-time record income of $42 billion last year, and with the movie distributor share of that being about $20 billion, end quote. Regal's statement is a little softer than AMC's, saying that they won't carry Universal if they do the day and date PVOD. So if that's not the case, they'll carry them. AMC looks to be in this for the long haul, so we'll see who blinks first.
So it like this thing blew up yesterday and today, and I think what AMC really needed was Regal to get on board.
Yeah.
And they did.
Yeah.
Now, because the question yesterday was who was going to budge? Was it going to be Universal or was it going to be AMC? It's obviously going to be Universal at this point, because if they don't budge, Jurassic Park shows in no theaters essentially, other than what, Landmark.
It'll show in Cinemark. It'll show in Alamo Drafthouse.
Yeah.
I.e., you're looking at about maybe 1,000 as opposed to 3 to 4.
Yeah.
So, I mean, do you want?
Well, but see, what you're
risk?
talking about though is also locations. You've got to add multiple screens for something like Jurassic Park per location when you go into. Like,
Oh yeah, you just can't have it on one screen. You got to have it on 2 or 3.
Yeah, so you're talking about between over 4,000 screens that it would be probably something like that would probably be on Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
And when you get into that case too, you're going to have some markets where there's crossover, where you do have AMC's and Regals and the other chains as well. Those other chains are probably going to have to overcompensate at that point and put Jurassic World on even more screens than it typically would, cutting out opportunities for other movies.
Yeah.
And then you also have to think about how the quality is going to be if it's going to be a movie that, is something you want to see on IMAX, and some of those lower theaters don't have that capability or don't have that access to those screens or cameras. It's for shit at that point.
It's so crazy to me, because when you talk about Alan, who was on the show for a long time, he tried to trigger me on Facebook. I was watching him because he's somebody who is just, he wants day and date releases for everything. But I just don't see how that could ever be a possibility. I don't see.
Well,
I
here's
don't
the
think-
interesting thing is, I mean, the opinion on our show is pretty much a consensus, right? Everybody's along the lines of, well, AMC was 100% in the right in this decision, right? Are we all in agreement on that?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, we got a no on here.
Okay, so
Let's hear the no.
Yeah, let's hear the no.
Yeah.
I mean,
So this is something that is a long time coming. I think that COVID has pushed this along way faster than it was going to end up happening anyway. Yes, there's still going to be diehard people who want to go to movie theaters. Yes, what you said last week, a lot of you said last week, there are movies that are best seen with crowds and on large screens and IMAX. I agree. But there are an awful lot of movies that would be fine being shown at home because the majority
Would Jurassic
of Americans,
Park be one of them, or Fast and Furious?
Well, I said the majority. I didn't say all of them.
Yeah.
So let me finish my entire argument. There's a whole thing around it. So there are some movies that, yes, benefit from a larger screen. But with the advent of HD televisions and better sound quality, people want to have things on demand. All of us, we live in an on-demand kind of world. That's one. Two, ticket sales, the money that studios make, it's not from ticket sales, it's from concessions.
Oh, that's actually the opposite. Actually, concession stands is what the theaters are, where they get their money. The studios get a vast majority of each ticket sale. They get the most of it.
But they still are. What my whole point is that the movie theaters are the middleman at this point. They still are the middleman. So if you cut out the middleman and bring your movie straight to your audience, and the person can see it in the comfort of their own home, a lot of people are going to opt for it. And as they start doing this more and more people are going to get used to it. I also think that this was a play because every year it seems like there's always that announcement that it was down in the theaters this year. Every year it seems like
and those numbers
in general.
Those numbers are always tinkered with too, because if
I was about to say, compare that to last year, they were at record highs.
Yeah, last year was a record high for theater.
It's all based on greed. It's all based on we set a projection for the year, and maybe we did not make that projection. Maybe we're like $1 billion off instead of hitting that to you know what I mean? It's all inflated. So what I think this was is because they can. Oh, I love your cat. I think this was a negotiating tactic so that they can secure their part in this business. And a part of the reason why I think that is because of what they said that we have contributed to da-da-da-da-da. They want to make sure that they keep their market share. Either keeping their market share and getting a part of the money that they would get from it coming straight into people's homes, or making sure they have the same kind of deal or sweetening the deal that they currently have when it's simultaneously shown on televisions at home and on larger screens, which I do think is smart. It doesn't dilute the. Here's the thing: it does not necessarily so the house always wins. So the house, being the studio, is gonna win. So from a studio perspective, if I don't make it in the theater, I am gonna make it in the home. Streaming,
well,
and especially
they still do though. This is the thing. They still do make it streaming.
They do, but to have it happen, there are so many movies that I would have seen, but either I'm too tired because my job is very physical,
Yeah.
or I have forgotten. So I end up missing it. And then I have to wait for it to come out. If it were being shown simultaneously, and the sad part is, I literally live, I don't know, 30 steps from a movie theater, an AMC, but sometimes I'm really that tired. So the house is
okay.
always...
So let me just answer to one part of that real quick, though. So what this whole thing really is about, this is not a negotiating tactic by AMC. This is actually a negotiating tactic by Universal.
I don't disagree with that either.
What Universal wants to do, and the reason their initial statement was made, is they're looking for renegotiating the windowing. Windowing is where the
amount of time between the theater
and the streaming version. They want a shorter window. And I think there's a few things at play. The Trolls numbers are we can cuss on here now, so I'm just going to say it. The Trolls numbers are bullshit. They're bullshit. And I'll tell you why they're bullshit. Because, number one...
There's no way to verify them.
Well, but wait. It's not even that they're verifiable. But the big element, the big animal in the room is COVID. On a regular given time, when there's no reason that we can't go out in the world, people are not going to spend...
There's no fucking movies right now.
People are not going to spend $20 on a movie ticket to watch at home.
Well, I do have a problem with that. Because it's more than what you're spending.
But hang on. The reason it has to be $20, though, is think about this. You talk about the amount of money that the studio is going to make in the theater versus what they make at home. Okay, so if all of us go to the theater and see that movie, and we spend $15 a piece, well, they got $10 each off of us, the studio did. Yes. Versus all of you guys coming over here and we spend $20 one time. So there's a huge...
$20 individually.
But that's not how it's
I'm not spending $20 to do it in my house.
Why are you going to spend $20 individually when you can just come to my house and watch it because I bought the ticket?
That is true.
World Tour is not the type of movie I'd want to go to a theater for.
Well,
exactly. Yeah, but that brings up the point of if they do continue, if they somehow Universal wins this whole thing where they start releasing same day, then that's going to cause, maybe not immediately, but that's going to cause further on down the line more studios to jump on board with that. And then you'll start to see thinking of, oh, well, most people are going to buy this in their home, which they don't have IMAX, they don't have premium sounds, because let's face it, the average American does not have a $400, $500 sound system and a multi-$1,000 TV. So the quality that these filmmakers are going to use to shoot the videos, to shoot the movies,
films are going to drop in quality,
go down drastically.
Yeah.
So I would rather have a really good movie and consistent quality and go to the theaters, and then wait 2 or 3 weeks after it leaves the theater to have it come on streaming.
And I think, Stephen, you're also right about the point about where it is because of this situation we're in. Like, Trolls is a novelty that this movie was going to be in theaters. It's a brand new movie released now, home video. It's in that people can't go out and do anything. It's a novel experience that people aren't going to experience again in the future anywhere close to what this situation is. So once we get to a point where we are able to go out to movie theaters, you're not going to have the kind of spike on direct-to-video downloads that the Trolls is having, except in a very special situation.
But
so I do think that movie is probably one of the ones that would do fine being
video.
Okay.
But if those videos are not,
I've been trying to make a point.
Yeah, come on. Go.
But if those movies are not going to be offered in the theater, people are going to watch them at home.
Well, for sure.
It's Jurassic World. It's demand. It's supply and demand. If you're not going to get it at the theater, you're going to get it because you want to see it regardless.
Okay, so with that in mind, let's talk about a movie like Jurassic World or Avengers Endgame. Avengers Endgame made $1 billion in the theater. It would take years to make $1 billion on demand, because I guarantee you, psychologically, people are, not all of us, some of us are hermits, but psychologically, people are communal. What would happen if we watched everything VOD, is people would have Friday night movie night parties. Everybody would come to the best person's house with the best TV and the best sound system. They would pay one ticket price and everybody will watch. And there would be no way to afford to even make a movie like Jurassic World.
But the $20 for the VOD is still a high price.
It would,
right now you pay $11.
I guarantee you, if it was if this was the only way these movies came out, the price will go up. Guarantee you.
It would be $49.99.
$50 a movie is what you'll spend.
Yeah.
For sure.
I don't
People
think
would
that.
pay for that.
Absolutely.
Especially
Like Wonder Woman
I don't think
1984 comes out, and it is exclusively on the Warner Brothers streaming program. $49.99 right now.
People would pay.
People
People
would
pay
for it.
It's just
And
like
I would.
it's just like
Theaters wouldn't
airlines.
do it,
Just
but
like
people
airlines.
would.
No, it's just like airlines, and it's proven with Delta. Delta offers a different service from American. They'll offer a premium service, they call it. We give out 2 extra snacks. People will pay $100 extra just for 2 extra snacks.
Right.
Yeah, but you're also in a COVID similar situation, and you're locked into a space with no
I'm
other
thinking,
options.
okay, look, I'm thinking beyond COVID.
So am I.
If you, it's the truth. Think about a family of 5.
Think
A
about your
family of
average
5.
film goer.
Well,
No,
that's
to your
not
point,
Yes, the
Michelle,
family of
true.
5
Wait,
option is
That's
absolutely
not necessarily
going to
true.
choose the
A lot of
video on-
times, people, let's say, because I have friends and clients who are total movie buffs and total movie fans, but they have 3 children. So let's say they decide that they're going to, it's 2 scenarios. They're going to go out for date night. They pay the sitter. That costs money. Tickets for 2 people, that costs money. And that costs a lot of money. So the sitter costs a lot of money. The movie ticket is not cheap. But then the popcorn and all of that stuff is expensive.
Mhm.
As opposed to $20 at home. Or if you're talking about a family of 5 wanting to go out to see a kids movie like Trolls, that literally could cost them lots and lots of money.
Oh,
Just
so
that all
I have a
five
great
were-
idea.
Wait, but you were exactly right about that, Michelle. I agree with you 100%. So you have to get cold about it, though. Look at it from strictly dollars for studios, because that's what the
It's
investors are looking at.
exactly what I'm
So,
doing.
no, but you're looking from the consumer side. If the studio is going to do this, they've got to make money. So a family of 5, okay, that studio made $20. Whereas if that family of 5 goes during the Tuesday night discount night and they say still spend $10 a head, that's $50 that they spent for tickets. The studio is going to get $30 to $35 of that. That's more money per
So
screening.
what I think you're misunderstanding me. I am for these 2 things happening simultaneously.
They're not going
That
to
is
happen.
It will
what
never
I'm
work,
saying.
though.
That will
That is
never
what
happen.
I'm saying. I think that it should.
I
That's
think
what
it
I
will
think.
happen.
No,
That
it's not going to
is
happen.
what is
AMC and
gonna
Regal will
happen.
fucking
That's
never
exactly
do
what's
That-
gonna happen.
that's what's happening now.
And it's gonna because the house always wins. You are correct that $30 or $50 as opposed to $20. You're gonna have some families who want the experience of going out to the movies and seeing it with the crowd. But then you're gonna have the other family who doesn't want to do it or who can't afford it. They still want to see the movie and they spend $20. If you think about it, I am thinking about the studio. The studio
Okay.
is going to make
Well,
money.
okay, so the
They're
part
going to
that
make more
the
money.
part that you're forgetting, though, is still the theater. So the exhibitor is looking at it like this. Okay, so
That's
you want 6 of my screens. You want 6 of my 12 screens for Jurassic Park, and
Which happens. They
and-
negotiate those deals.
They negotiate those screens.
They
so
have
they
to
get,
be on the biggest screen
Yeah.
for 2 weeks
Sure they do.
exclusively.
So the exhibitor's like, okay, so you want a total of 4,000 of my screens where I can show nothing but your movie, and then you're going to pilfer through people that could come to the theater and see it and put it online. It just is not going to
So
work that
this
way.
is why I'm saying
Dude,
this
why
is
would
a
I pay for it?
negotiation
Once that
tactic.
stuff is
Let her
on-
talk.
it was a
Let her-
negotiation
Zach,
tactic.
let her
Because
answer.
here's the thing. What you just said about the 4,000 screens, negotiating, or 6,000 screens, you're right. They have to negotiate to make sure they get those screens. But what they're doing now is making sure that they get a piece of the money that you would get from showing it at home.
Who is?
The theaters, so that they don't.
The theaters they're not going to get
anything from the movies.
They're not going to get
so
anything.
I feel like in negotiating, by saying you can't, if you say you can't come here anymore, Michelle, you just can't come. But if I say, listen, if I pay you a percentage of, do you know what I'm saying?
But the studios are not going to do that.
They're never going to do that.
Okay.
Yeah. They definitely won't do that. They've tried that before. They've tried that before. This situation. Everybody's acting like they're so surprised. This is not a new situation. This has happened over and over again. And the end result is going to be probably a reduced window of time that it's exclusive to the theater.
Well, it's going to have to. It's going to have to be, because we're going to be so crowded with content that's been pushed. Like, they're going to have to shorten the windows.
I think that they're going to need to do this simultaneously.
Just as another,
I will wager you
a
whole bottle of Bailey's that will never happen. That will never happen.
What are they losing if they do it simultaneously?
I'll tell you what they're losing. It's common sense. Okay, there's a family of 5. What Michelle just said. That family, I said this a second ago, could spend $10 a piece on the cheap seats early in the morning to go see that movie at the theater. Studio gets $35. Mm-hmm. They can rent it that night for $20. And don't forget, they don't get that whole $20 on VOD. They're paying those services to run it unless you're using your own custom service. They are paying somebody, whether it's DirecTV or Amazon, whoever. Amazon got a piece of all that money. Okay, so they're still giving up.
Next step.
They're still giving, but this is not going to, people will not go to Warner Brothers for movies and then go to Paramount's page for their movies and then go here for their movie. That's going to get to be a pain in the ass. There has to be a portal, which is pretty much what the theaters have been. It's just a digital version of the portal.
A portal.
Michelle, let him finish.
They already have it.
Let him finish.
That's what Amazon is. So the reason that it won't happen is because movie theaters, the cinemas that pay people to clean and pay people to run concessions and pay a projectionist and pay for the building and pay for all of these things and give up half the screens in their theater are not going to want to sit there and see people watching it at home. That's why it won't happen. Because that's pilfering into their money. That's pilfering into their overall.
Let me just offer
income.
A secondary point of view here. So Wonder Woman 84 comes out digital and in theaters. Let's say, for instance, it happens that day and date it's online digital and it's in the theater digital.
Yeah.
So you're telling me that I can go onto the Pirate Bay and download a 1080p or 4K HDR enabled copy of this film for free.
Gonna happen.
And why would I ever pay for that?
Gonna happen.
And ultimately, Steven was talking about with the money. They're not going to make the money.
Is someone tech savvy enough to do it?
Like you're not going to have the major record-breaking weekends that like every Avengers movie has been making or ever again if they release day and date in theaters and at home.
Ultimately, goodbye Chinese rip cans.
Yeah, ultimately it's just more profitable for all parties involved to have a limited theater experience first, then go to home as it's been doing. The window limiting, I think that will probably happen. You will probably see the window of the exclusivity contract, but it's not going to disappear. If it was going to disappear, Disney would have fixed it already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a remaining meeting limit warning.
I just got that too. We got free time today. So if it happens, we'll start another one, and that's okay. We anticipated this to be a long discussion. The one other thing that's really funny to me is everybody like Universal's blowing up about Trolls. They put out all of their theatrical releases up through COVID starting, and no one's talking about any of those
movies. What's the numbers for The Invisible Man?
Wait.
One of them arguably has an A-list actress in it.
You cannot talk about those other movies because those other movies had a limited time.
I'm talking about what's the VOD numbers.
Let me just say one thing about Trolls numbers. Right now, kids are not in school. Kids are
That too.
usually in school. Kids are usually in bed by a certain time on a school night. Parents are losing their minds. They're grasping. No, like all my coworkers who are parents, 9 times out of 10, when we're on a video call or something, they have their kids sitting in front of the TV watching a movie on repeat. And I'm like, oh, weren't you watching this movie yesterday? Yes, it's the only movie he will shut up for so I can do my job. So I think those numbers are vastly inflated
because of COVID.
Yeah, once kids are going back to school, once they have more stimulus like homework that they got to do, or friends that they can socialize with, or even just, not having to rely on their parents every, minute of attention when the parents are trying to work. So the parents need that distraction for the kids. If this had happened for some reason, Trolls was released when it was a normal day, like 4, 5, 6 months ago, these numbers would not have gotten that high.
And
So-
to tag on to that real quick, also, you're shooting in the foot future releases. If that movie hit in theaters, then typically, and 4 to 6 months down the line, it would then have its available home video release at which all these people would be buying it. Whereas now, it's only the initial release. All of these people who are rewatching the movie aren't going back into the theater, aren't getting double dipped for payment of that. It's only one purchase. They're only going to get that one purchase off that customer now.
And the last thing for me on this is over and over again during this whole time, I've been seeing people talk about when Universal put those movies up. Over and over again, the response I saw was, why would I pay $20 to rent this movie if I wait 3 months? The same amount will buy the movie. Why would I not just wait? Especially since, when you look at $20 for one digital movie rental versus $20 for a month of Netflix, it's just the dollars don't make sense.
I still think they'll keep it up for digital because it's convenient.
Now, to throw a bone to Michelle, I think we're the exception of this.
Well, we're cinephiles. We're definitely
checking this out on social media and everything. Everyone is saying, well, AMC is so dumb for doing this. So I mean,
but what I've seen, a lot of people
we might be the few here.
A lot of people don't really read the article, which I've learned. They just read the headline.
Well, yeah, but I mean, for me, it was explicitly clear. It's like, well, Universal breached their contract and did this behind the NATO's back.
You guys got me so fired up, I drink my whole drink.
Even after this COVID situation, people aren't going to want to rush to the theater. They're not going to get the numbers.
That's true. I'm not rushing to the theater. I won't be going.
Okay, let's say theaters open and Tenet is opening. I'm going?
I'm going to put on a mask and go.
I'm going. Yeah.
But a lot of people will not risk it. They're like, even now with restaurants and retail opening,
a lot of people are not going to risk anything in groups, and that's part of. And this is still part of COVID.
But this is going to happen in a year.
We're still in the COVID window. It doesn't. Yeah. This is the anomaly situation. We're talking about.
Well, Nico was talking, but sure.
I'll wait. I don't mind waiting.
Well, I was just adding on to that point that it's like the whole. It will take a while for people to get into a regular theater going experience again, just because we are still in the COVID bubble, and we 100%. Are going to be in the COVID bubble even after.
I would be surprised if we started going to movie theaters without thinking about it later this year, like November.
I mean, it might be 2021 before I give it a thought.
2021.
Yeah.
Will these theaters be able to survive?
Yeah, we're gonna see.
I also think you're forgetting that the specter of recession is really here. It's just that no one's paying attention to it because of COVID. So when business goes back and there's a recession also. Mm-hmm. So
okay, so let me throw this back at you because I agree with that. So I look at it like this: I can rent Trolls for $20, or I can give Regal $20 and see every movie they have in the theater, everything for that month.
When?
But
right now, I was doing it before this went off. It's their unlimited plan.
Okay.
Yeah,
but you can't do it right now.
Yeah.
No, you
But-
can't. And and so in my head, all I'm thinking is, especially because of what the CDC is saying, that this is the first round. There will be a second round of COVID.
Yeah, there will.
When the second round happens, the second round will be worse. There'll be more numbers. So that means the choice will be, do we shut it down or do we just let the chips fall where they may? And there's a recession. One of the things I don't agree with what they have done with the pricing, $20 for a movie that I would spend $15, and it's not going to be something I own. How do I know I'm going to like it?
Exactly.
To own it.
And
It
that price,
should have been less money.
I guarantee you, I will also guarantee you this bottle
It
of
should have been less
Bailey's,
money.
that price, if we went VOD only, would go up.
Yeah.
I was Zach, it would be $50.
I'm
Yeah.
going to throw this out here because you're going to see this COVID situation play out at least
For a while.
until the vaccine and after. And you're going to notice that your theaters are going to be shutting down. That, like, a lot of these theaters and
I will
these
be
towns
damned
and
before
cities
I let the
are
Belcourt die.
are
Hell yeah.
are going to close. So all you're left with is to do the digital streaming. Like there's so many
and
cities.
Regal
There's
are
so
gonna
many
make it.
cities I would lay over at that there are no Regals. There's only
Right.
AMCs. If the AMCs go out, then all those people who want to see movies are going to buy these movies.
These are big corporations, just like Walmart and all the others. They're
Okay. What
they're
about
gonna-
that article I sent to the group? And it's sad. Okay, so because I think it's disgusting. There's an AMC movie theater that was basically the anchor of a mall, an outdoor mall, and because of COVID, and they haven't been paying on their lease, which doesn't make any sense because they are
there's a lawsuit.
corporation.
2-minute warning.
It doesn't make sense that they, weren't paying their lease,
Well,
but they are. It doesn't. If you're a large
To-
corporation and you are touting like, we make so much money, why aren't you paying your lease?
to throw a bone to AMC, they did have a thing in their contract which said that if there was a big event that caused a lot of things to close, that this would be paused. The guy that owns the property specifically says, well, it doesn't specifically say COVID-19.
Yeah, he's doing semantics.
Yeah. Now, I agree with you. AMC is a big corporation that should be able to pay their rent. But the guy on the other end, too, is kind of being a dick.
Yeah, he's being a jerk, obviously.
Yeah.
But
A landlord being a jerk? That's silly.
What? Yeah, I know, right? I just think, here in Virginia, I just got an email because I live in Arlington. There's an email that they're not going to have summer camp for kids this year. They were already starting to make these decisions. So we're talking about schools in most states are done for the year. Things will start opening up slowly.
Oh, God, that's creepy.
Huh?
Sorry, I looked at Steven's video and then I just see Nathan's face.
That's it. These
Freaked me out.
So I don't know. We'll see.
sorry.
I do think that it's gonna
I'm
be
sorry.
like
we're in under 30 seconds.
Yeah. All right, you guys. I'm gonna
Right.
shut this one down. Compose your thoughts, and we'll wrap this up when I resend the link.
all right, yay.
I haven't had this much fun in weeks.
Yay.
I know. It's a good one.
Yeah.
Good.
Guys
Well,
are making
points on
really
every
good
side.
And can I
points.
just say one thing else? And again,
I know we're not done yet. Yeah, speak.
I'm a lay person. I'm a lay person on this one. But
You're the
I
average
also-
consumer.
So am I.
Yeah.
Well,
It's-
not just
it's
the
a
average
great
consumer.
view
I mean,
to
I
have.
love.
Wait, let me just go ahead and refill this before you start, because
Are we recording?
Glug,
Yeah,
glug,
we're
glug,
we're
glug, glug,
recording.
glug, glug, glug.
okay.
Anyway,
Go for it. I'm listening.
I think and again, I know that I have two people who are in make films.
Yeah.
But I feel like once it moved from physical film to digital filming,
Mhm.
that was another beautiful way to dovetail into this situation between shooting things
Oh, for sure. I agree with that.
and having HD everything, because everything's HD. it's a beautiful way to dovetail this into something that happens. Now, I do think in the beginning, it's gonna be expensive, but I think there are gonna be people. So, like, remember when back in the day,
Michelle just freaked out because she was about to age herself. I saw.
I know, right? I'm just gonna do it though.
Do it.
Remember back in the day when I would say I remember it was middle school, like late, maybe 5th grade into 6th grade when people started getting cable.
Mm-hmm.
And cable was expensive. Like, it was expensive. Not every household had it because it was totally like, why would I pay for television?
Right.
But then it was not cheap. I mean, obviously it hasn't gone down.
But then you're going to tell me
now.
how it went down, right?
Huh?
You're going to tell me how it went down over time, right?
Well,
because there's been price creep. You know, there's been price creep. It's right back up there now.
I agree. But I think that they're missing people like myself who cut the cable several years ago, and now I just stream everything. I have AT&T now that has the same exact cable channels just for $91.
So that's a whole other discussion. But my struggle right now is to see everything I want to see. I've got to have Netflix and Hulu and
True.
You know,
True.
Peacock is coming and they're $15 and $20 a pop. Pretty soon we're back to cable price, but that's a whole other discussion.
Yeah, but I think that isn't an effort to try to push people back into cable again. Is the nickeling and diming thing. But just like you came up with the $1 billion idea of one aggregator for all of those things.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with cable. Would be a smart thing also.
That's exactly what cable is, though, is an aggregator for all of
it is. It is, but they need some competition. Because they do corner the market.
I agree, and I actually think we should do a show on this and have this discussion because this is a whole separate thing.
Because there's some bullshit.
There is.
Yeah.
But Nathan and I were talking about this while it took a minute to get this second one loaded. Because why do we see
I've been distracted by the cat the entire time.
It's not a still picture. He's looking right now.
See his ear moving.
See, it's not a still.
I think the whole VOD thing also
it's the happy kitty.
Works better for family films than it does for regular films.
Yeah.
And it also works better for middle tier films. Trolls is not a Pixar quality film.
No.
It's a shit film to start with.
Yeah.
So if they can make $100 million, which they would have made in the theater also, in probably about the same amount of time, but it's not a good gauge. You know, you got to take you want to test this theory, then let's take a $200 million Marvel film.
That's why I say Wonder Woman.
But it ain't going to happen.
That's the test. If you really want to test
I don't think Wonder Woman's going to have that weight.
What weight?
Like Avengers.
No, I don't know.
That'd be very interesting.
I think it does too.
I'm not saying it's Avengers Endgame, but I'm definitely saying it's
it's Captain America level.
Captain America, yeah.
It's bigger than Black Widow will be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh shit! What if it was Black Widow?
Yeah, and Disney had that opportunity. And what did they put out? Onward. Because you know why? Onward is a suck movie. It got bad reviews and no one was seeing it.
It got middling reviews, and then everybody was like, it's fine. And
then,
Nathan tried so hard not to slap you.
And then, I watched it on Disney Plus. I mean, I could have bought it. I could have bought it off Amazon for $20. And, I waited a week and a half, 2 weeks, and then it came on Disney Plus, and then it's like, by God, I'm happy I didn't pay for this whatsoever outside of a Disney Plus subscription because
I heard that everybody loved that movie.
No, it was a
good movie.
I heard Nathan.
Y'all are fucking
I'm serious. I heard over and over again how good the movie was.
It is a super cute movie.
That's what I heard.
Now it is not Pixar level.
And it's a
Pixar film.
Yeah, but it's not up to the standard on that. But the story
which is bad.
Was amazing.
Nathan,
that's what I've heard.
Nathan, you need some soda.
I haven't seen Onward.
I kind of feel left out. I might need to go get drinks too. I'll be right back.
Oh, look at that. So the thing about Onward for me is it's not that it's bad. It's just absolutely 100% forgettable. It was okay, but a month after I saw it, like I couldn't quote it to you. It's just meh.
Are you kidding me? Like, well, you only watched it once, so how are you going to quote it?
All I need to see was once. It wasn't
Nico,
good enough.
I've seen it 3 or 4
you're
times.
not coming through.
Who? Nico? I don't hear Nico.
Yeah, exactly. I hear him from the other room, but I don't hear him on the...
I don't have you muted, do I?
No, he's not muted.
No, he doesn't have the little mute thing. Is your thing plugged in all the way?
Is that a question you ask him regularly?
You're not hitting that spot, Nico.
I'm just gonna leave that one. I'm just gonna not.
Yeah, I think we're gonna
there.
up our internet because we've both been getting connection unstable issues.
That's why you need 300 megabits down.
We have 200 right now. There's a deal right now going on where it's 1,000 megabytes per second with 10 TV channels for the same amount of price that we're paying now.
Stupid question. Are you using the built-in Wi-Fi that AT&T or Comcast has?
Comcast, yeah.
And that's why your connection's bad.
They govern it. Yeah, you need to get your own router.
Get your own Wi-Fi router. I'm telling you,
we have our own router. We have our own router. Like,
well,
this
you
is
need to get a
one
better
that
one.
I bought
Damn.
myself.
Get a better one.
Oh boy.
All right, so
You want to pay for a better router?
It's only $80. I mean,
did we completely lose Nico now?
Yeah, I think he's trying to reconnect.
Okay, so
Let him in the meeting.
Oh shit!
He said, "Let him in the."
This is some great audio.
Let me in.
Yeah, this is so. Like, if you want to see this stuff live, you could just go to the YouTube channel. All right, he's in. All right, so let's get on to the next story.
We can't.
Go. What were we gonna say, Tian?
Oh wait, no. Next story is Zach. Yeah.
Yeah, Zach has the next story.
Oh gosh. All right.
All right.
Well,
I'm here.
Oh, nice for you to join the party finally. All right.
Still don't see
So,
you, but hear you.
How are movie theaters planning to bounce back from the current coronavirus shutdown? The CEO of National Association of Theater Owners, or NATO, just gave an in-depth interview, basically regarding Tenet and Mulan, as they are trying to get July up and going for theaters. First things first, while some states like Georgia have already declared theaters can reopen right now, the CEO says, I have not talked to one exhibitor who's going to open up this week. No surprise there. But what about the future? Essentially, the big movies in July as of now are the Warner Brothers Christopher Nolan movie Tenet and Disney's Mulan. Even if theaters are ready to open for these movies, they won't be operating at full capacity to compensate for that. Tenet and Mulan will likely play on more screens. Theoretically, it's something they can do. So there's been a lot of talk, basically, that if theaters do open right now, they're going to be playing retrospective stuff, so classics, to try to have something until July, and then once July happens and we're going to try and open it, or these movies are just going to get pushed, I guess. Theaters are going to be operating at either 25 or 50% capacity, and there's going to be several regulations like doors have to remain open until 5 minutes past the movie started, and then 2 minutes prior to the doors have to be open so you don't touch the doors.
They'll probably regulate, like, you can only sell every third or fourth seat, something like that. Like
so
it'll be the checkerboard effect.
This is actually going to be a really useful thing that we're in an era of reserved seating, because that's going to be easier to control.
Oh, sure. It's also going to be a nightmare. I'd like one ticket to Tenet and IMAX, please. Oh, they are showing it in 70 millimeter? I can't wait. It's sold out for 2 weeks. I would probably cry. Because serious, I've been waiting for this movie.
Oh my god!
Desperately trying to find a 70 millimeter screening of it because there's been no news. I'm willing to drive to see it in 70 mil, and I might have to just be screwed on tickets. It's like,
are theaters going to be making the money they need to? Operating costs will probably be more than what they're bringing in.
I think what they'll have to do in order to deal with that is do half days, like they won't have as many showings because then they can have fewer
6 p.m.
employees.
and on, or 5 p.m. and on.
Yeah, let's start later in the
No
afternoon.
3 p.m.
I also wouldn't
Yeah.
be
But you're
surprised
still
if we saw a
burning
massive uptake of concession prices or something
electricity,
like that.
a waste of concessions, employee payroll, screens, whatever you're dividing out to the studios. Like there's some.
Well, they might also do things like cut
You're
down on the
sorry.
concessions they have and then upsell the prices of those. Like,
Well, I mean, like,
you may not see as
saying,
many
it's
of
like,
those.
well, there's not, there's so many screens. It's like, well, you're only filling up maybe half. So
Yeah.
if you're regularly going to have this movie on 3 to 4 screens, well, now you're going to have it on 6 to 8, and that will fill
And
those 3 to 4.
you know what they might do?
or even less.
You know what? One thing they might do, and I guess I would be okay with it, is in the short term, is they might not re-engage the subscription models.
They're
No.
not gonna
In
do
other
that
words,
for
you
a
have to
while.
buy individual tickets, and
Yeah,
I
that's
can understand that, and I would be fine with
Yeah.
that. And that would be fine with me for the short term. But the whole checkerboard seating thing, I wish they would keep that for the rest of my life because I hate when people sit next to me.
Don't you love it when you get like the perfect seat and then this couple comes right in and sits
Oh, it's
right
the
next to
Right
you? You're just
freaking
like,
beside you.
you're like, you couldn't go
Or
anywhere
in front
else,
of you,
right
and
next
their
to you.
heads are just in the line of sight.
That also
No,
goes
no.
back to if you're
No,
doing
it's not their heads,
checkerboard.
it's their
Or
phones.
If
you're
you're
in the Mr. Rogers movie
What?
and the people next
Nathan?
to you are making out. Like,
If you go to the checkerboard seating, then you're not getting the box office numbers you need
You're
if
not.
they're limiting. Yeah.
Well, but
Yep.
I think that's true, and I also think that they are going to have to anticipate that. I mean, because
Which means
if
they
we know
would
it, they
do
know it.
streaming to make profit.
Look,
Or
Nathan,
they just double the screens that the movies are going to be on, like Steven mentioned earlier.
But
Yeah.
then you're burning operating costs.
No, you're not.
Like,
It's the same cost. Like if you pay me to be
It's-
there, it costs the same per hour for me to be there. And if you're paying for electricity in the building, it's already turned on. It costs you nothing extra.
if you're using more screens, you're using more energy.
The screens would be used by something anyway. It's
Yeah.
just they're going to be more strategic on what gets on the screens.
It's going to be
Right,
really interesting.
that's even more reason to have things happen simultaneously.
I,
just
You
did.
will
Michelle,
there's
Michelle,
no amount
I
of
love
money
you, but
pay
hold your breath.
in it.
No, Michelle and I are on the same wavelength.
No,
Hey,
you
cheers.
are hammered.
Cheers, Nathan.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I'm not hammered.
Cheers.
He's hammered.
And I love her bougie straw.
There is no amount of money you could convince
Totally.
me to see Tenet at Steven's house
Look, Nathan.
as a
Nathan,
first-time
I'm
viewing.
stirring
There's
it
no-
first. Stirring it up.
Part of me wishes they would just hold Tenet till next year because I think it's going to be such an important movie that I just would hate to see it wasted.
God, it hurts. It hurts even more. I've seen the first 5 minutes, and it's amazing. And I'm just,
Yeah.
I can't wait for this thing.
I know.
But
Wait a minute.
Steven-
You've seen the first
Yeah,
5 minutes.
should
Did you
hold
stream
it.
that?
So I did
Probably
stream the
bootlegged
first 5 minutes. It was a pirated copy. But
Oh,
if
you-
you saw, hold on. If you saw Rise of Skywalker in IMAX, they showed it. So it's not
Which-
like I'm the only one. There's a lot.
I did not see Rise of Skywalker in IMAX.
I
and I'm
didn't
fine
either,
with
which
that.
is why I.
Who
hired
did?
it.
Hey, you get.
By God, it's amazing.
Well, okay, let me ask you this. Let's just say they were like, okay, look, we want to make money. We want to get some return off of this. Talking to you, Zach, we're going to release this on video, but then we're going to release it again in the theater when it's safe.
I would only
You
see
will
it.
watch.
I
No,
would only
you're
see
not.
it.
you're not.
No,
I don't
no.
even know you that well.
No,
If
no,
you
no,
are
no,
that
no.
excited for a movie, you will stream it.
Okay, all right.
Seriously,
So-
seriously.
Let him give his answer. Let him give his answer.
Let him get his
this
lie
is,
out.
Like literally my most anticipated film. I am seriously only going to see this in IMAX as my
You're a
first
liar.
time viewing.
You're
I-
a spoiler person.
I was
You're-
making
All of
I
us.
was making plans and trips to.
We were gonna drive to, like-
Indiana
Yeah.
to see this in 70 millimeter. That is how like I need to see this in IMAX.
So what's funny,
He
Michelle,
shot the majority of the film in IMAX.
is Michelle's question. Michelle, your question is if they did do that, they would put it out on video now and then release it later to
Yes.
cinema. That would only be appealing to cinephiles. They would be trying to appeal to cinephiles because
And it would
somebody
have
who's
to be like a select like.
And
well,
Nolan,
wait. Somebody who's a regular
Nolan
customer.
is a cinephile, so he
Right.
would do this.
No, he wouldn't do this. He wouldn't do this because he knows that cinephiles won't do this. They won't. I will not do this. If it is a Christopher Nolan film, I will see it the way he meant for me to see it.
Yep.
And I will. That means I will see it in an IMAX theater in 70 millimeter, and I will wait 100%.
So even if all of us in this chat, except for the two of you, we see it on our own screens,
Don't
and
spoil
we're
it for me.
talking about
Don't
how
spoil it.
amazing
Absolutely
it is.
strangle you if you spoiled it.
Well, that would be
I might
good.
just leave the
Come to
podcast for a
Virginia
few
and
weeks.
strangle me.
I'll say
Come to
this.
Virginia and
I
strangle me.
wouldn't-
All right.
I would not watch it if it came out on streaming, mostly because I just don't like Christopher Nolan. So there you go.
Mute.
All I know
Mute.
is Zach and Steven can get really elitist, and they're really full of shit on a lot of stuff that I say.
Well, but that's in response to the question that she asked, which is because if they release it on video, the general consumer that chooses to watch it on video is not going to go back to the theater.
No.
So you're
think
trying to appeal to
Cinephiles
cinephiles. You're going the
right.
opposite direction.
I think what you were going for is, would you avoid all spoilers? No, I couldn't.
I would.
I would try. I would actively try, but it would be an
And then
impossible.
Zach would spoil it.
So you know what would happen, Michelle? Would be really funny. Is Zach would not
I would
be able.
still wait to see the whole thing in IMAX.
Zach would not be able to avoid the spoilers. He would read everything about the film, and then every time he came over here to visit, I would just by default kick him in the balls as he's coming in the door to make sure he knows not to say anything about it.
Yes.
I mean, you should do that anyway.
That's what would happen.
Zach's learned to say it to me, and then I say it to.
Yes, Zach knows how to spoil the ending of Game of Thrones for Nathan and make him cry.
Oh,
That happened.
oh,
Made
that
a
was
lot of
in
people
game.
cry in
That
in
was
the
in
wrong
game.
ways.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, it was in game.
Yeah, that was
That's
in
right.
game.
Well, in game.
He did. He
I
spoiled
mean,
it.
I didn't spoil it.
We
I-
were talking about Game of
Wait a
Thrones.
minute.
And you
here's
spoiled the game.
here's what happened.
Zach, you
Yeah.
spoiled it for him?
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me, let me talk. He brought up the idea.
Wait a minute.
He
You're
said
you're gonna
it's
try
not
to
like an
explain this
Avengers.
away.
There's going to be time travel. And I went, you know, and that's all I did.
Spoiler.
That's all I
Spoiler.
did.
It's how you did
To be
it, Zach.
fair.
And then you tried to cover it up like a bullshit lie.
I was like,
you
oh
did
no,
just
I was
to
making
cover
it up. I just
Oh.
started crying and I felt awful.
To be fair, I knew that there was going to be time travel in this, and I didn't even read any spoilers.
I never knew there was, but I assumed there might be. That's just comic books for you.
I,
So
Yeah.
you know, I just went.
Yeah.
let's move forward. I think we've got some time. Let's do this TV story. Who's got the TV story?
Are
Nathan,
we going to? We're busy or not?
do Tina's.
Tina, let's just you know what? I'm gonna do the week's
New on
releases,
Blu-ray?
and then and then Tina, you can do your story because Nathan can barely talk, let alone read anything right now. So we're just gonna move forward. You know,
David Haikabaka.
if you could see the proper color grading, his
Awesome.
face is so red
Awesome.
right now.
Awesome.
Oh boy.
But I will not.
It's-
I will
it's-
admit, I've drank so much Bailey's, I'm sweating over here because that discussion got me wound up.
Well, I'm telling you,
Alright.
I'm great. I'm very patriotic right now. Red, white, and blue.
Oh,
All
Oh
right.
boy.
So this week on Blu-ray, there are some things. That's a really funny thing that kind of plays into the whole streaming thing. Is did anybody else notice all the stories that came out when COVID? This tells you how weird the COVID situation is. Is physical media was selling out at Walmart's? Like they were literally selling everything.
Really?
Yeah. Not only just
It's
not
the
just
toilet
physical media,
paper
but
of
also
movies.
like television sets have also been selling out. I
Yeah,
have a friend of mine that works
It's
in
the
the
toilet paper effect.
Yeah, but people needed stuff to watch, so they were buying Blu-rays. So that kind of made me happy.
Oh,
I was on
watched
Target
TVs,
today, and the new
Blu-rays,
releases
everything.
were sold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So this week, Arrow season 8 is out, and then Arrow the complete series is out. If you want to do that, Mortal Kombat Legends Scorpion's Revenge is out on Blu-ray and 4K. I kind of want to see this animated movie. Guns Akimbo is out. All I know about this is it has Daniel Radcliffe in it.
Yeah.
I
And
really
somebody
thought that
kinda
was getting a theatrical release, and they went straight to VOD.
It went straight,
so.
yeah. The rhythm section is out. I misspelled that, but
Looks like Secretion.
That's that Blake
Secretion.
Lively movie.
Yeah, and literally as we're sitting here, my copy of it sold on Macari. If that tells you what I thought of it.
Wow.
Yeah, just one of the guys is out, and just one of the guys is actually a great little comedy from the '80s that no one's talked about for years. Basically, it's a story of a girl who believes her teacher gave her a bad grade on a paper because she was a girl writing it instead of a boy. So she cross-dresses like a dude and goes to another school and turns the same paper in to see what would happen. It's really good comedy.
That's a lot of effort.
It is. It is a. It was the '80s.
Yes.
Yep. And then the Grand Budapest Hotel is out in a special edition digipack. There's a lot of stuff. Next week is a much bigger physical media release week. But we got some comic book news. I'm excited for this.
Yeah, so on Tuesday, distribution company Diamond Comics Distributors set a May 20th target for restarting deliveries to stores, and the comic book industry is slowly setting about the matter of restarting. Boom Studios has announced a new plan to support retailers as they get back to work. The Day One Retailer Support Service Program will extend existing discounts through mid-May and offer full returnability on unsold material through late August. In addition to making rare variant covered editions of existing titles available for retailers to use as they see fit. Almost read that as titties, but okay, here we go. The program will also offer affiliate sales opportunities through Simon & Schuster, Ingram, and Bookshop.org, allowing retailers the opportunity to earn revenue through online sales even before physical stores reopen, and participation in targeted advertising and paid promotional programs. I swear it was just Red Bull that I was drinking.
It's exciting that the funny books are coming back. Apparently, did you see this, that DC is doing some kind of limited print run thing for comic shops?
DC's trying to do a limited run, going through a couple of different other distributors that aren't Diamond. Actually, they're two different companies. I forget the names of them, but they're actually like sister companies of some of the largest comic shops in the country. Like Mile High is one of them. I forget what the other one is. But basically, those companies have their own distribution network because they also sell their own comics, and they're going through that system. Kind of a stopgap until they're able to get to Diamond. Marvel's not doing that right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say our local comic shop is holding off till the Diamond releases. I saw that.
Nothing new is coming in terms of comic wise. Although locally in the Nashville area, shops are starting to kind of open a little bit, and you could also do like curbside pickup as well. But it looks like it's still going to be another few weeks before we get any new books.
Yeah. So, I don't know if we talked about this on the show, but I hope other comic book shops across the country are doing some of this stuff too. But our local shop was doing, one of our local shops, Rick's, was doing some really cool stuff where he was taking overstock of comics
putting it out on the
and putting it out, and he would put it out on Facebook. There's stuff out there. If you need something for your kids to read, drive by and pick it up. Just please, he was saying, please only take one so that there's stuff left for everybody else, one of each thing or something.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. And I think he's probably still doing that, although I know in parts of Tennessee, like his Clarksville store is already reopened.
Yes, Clarksville store is reopened, but they're very limited hours. The Nashville one, they're hoping to do that soon. They're also all going to be very limited hours, and they still offer curbside pickup, online orders, things like that.
Yeah.
So I think I'm hopeful that comic shops will be okay through this. Is really the fact that everything shut down at the same time kind of put them in a weird stasis. So it's really, as long as they can get through their rent, I think they'll be fine.
I think so too. So what I think we should do as a show is we should do a special weekend recording of the show, and all of us get shit-faced over Zoom. I think that we should do that.
As opposed to a weeknight one like this one where half of us are getting shit-faced.
Well, one of us is shit-faced. The other one is nice and toasty.
This isn't even shit-faced.
No, that's your phrase.
That is
shit-faced.
Love it.
This really isn't.
No, it's not.
I mean,
I've been around.
that is
My
a stupid.
tolerance is good.
That is a
love
stupid
it.
fucking idea because it would just be a cacophony of sounds and yelling.
It would be
Oh my.
So much fun.
It would be great.
A very special edition
We should plan
of
this.
this show.
Oh boy.
I mean, I'm good for this weekend.
Michelle, you'll drink with us, won't you?
Yes, I will.
Perfect. All right. Well, for the time being, let's wrap this guy up. Nico, where do we find you on the internet, sir?
You can find me on social media under Nico Scream, mostly on Twitter and on Facebook, NIKOSCREAM. You can find me posting pictures of geese that I see on my morning walk.
Nice. Tina?
You can find me at Cheddar Popper, that is CHEDRPOPPR, both on Instagram and Twitter, where I am doing book reviews, and you'll occasionally see pictures of our food because we're starting to cook in our new place.
Nice. Zach, where do we find you?
You can find me on Steam as well as on Discord, a dangerous lunatic, and I play games with the PC boys pretty much every night now. So that's with Dalton and the Haunters.
Yep. Nathan?
You can find me on Instagram, Nate_R_70. You can also find me on
Laying in the corner after the show over there.
on Mondays and Thursday. It's because church is Wednesday and Sunday. All right.
Did you say church? Awesome.
I said church.
Chart.
I like
All
it.
right. Find me at All Things Culture Smash, but mostly also you will find me lately on Off the Shelf Movie Night on YouTube. I just posted some videos of all the super cool Disney Steelbook pickups that I got from that Best Buy sale. Tina, did you get your stuff?
Yes, I did. I actually ended up with 2 copies of Civil War. So
I got 2
I'll
copies
take
of
the
Finding
one.
Nemo. One of which you can find on Mercari right now for a very good price. I already have it. I already have that one. Dang it. But yeah, I ended up with 2 copies of that. It's kind of weird. I guess they're like packing, I don't know, really fast or something.
Yeah, they're not paying attention.
Yeah. So yeah, you can find all that stuff on there, and then OTS Movie Night on Instagram, and then I got some more review stuff coming. We've got a lot of Arrow reviews coming to Culture Smash very, very shortly of some movies I didn't like so much, to be honest.
Have any of you watched
Good.
Devs yet?
Devs, I'm still behind. I'm still
Still
behind.
Not yet.
And you know what's funny? And I had this in the rundown. What we're binging. I've been struggling with it a little bit. I just haven't been in the mood for Devs. Devs is really good, but I just haven't been in the mood. I started trying to binge. I started binging Buffy the other day, and I just got disconnected from it. I just like meh. But then I started binging 24, and like I'm all locked in. Like I'm all locked in on 24.
Well, it's captivating. It's action.
it is.
And it's riveting. It's like cliffhanger after cliffhanger. Yeah, so it's like
So-
perfect.
I think that if you watched Ex Machina first
I did. I love Ex Machina. I had that
and then watch Devs,
yeah,
it-
I agree.
yeah.
They feel very similar.
Nico and I are
written by
almost
the
done
same
with
person.
Yeah.
We're almost done with season 3 of Handmaid's Tale.
Yes.
We're caught up on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. We're
Nice.
looking forward to the Parks and Rec special tomorrow. So
Steven, did you watch the there was the Chuck cast did a script reading on Zoom like
What?
last week or something?
I'm gonna find that. No, I would love to see that.
Do you guys watch Big Mouth?
I haven't got a chance to watch it yet either.
Now that I know
No.
it's there, I'm gonna go find it. No, I haven't watched Big Mouth yet. I know I need to.
Oh my God, that show is hilarious. It's
See-
it's completely dirty. It's hilarious.
I like Dirty. I'm down.
It's very
I like
funny.
dirty.
I know you do. That's the scary part.
That show had me and it lost me. So
Yeah.
I mean, if you want
No,
some
that's
fluff
just
to watch Too Hot to Handle on
And then
Netflix.
because I still have a satellite dish with DVR, now Nathan is watching his crap over here on Friday nights because we're recording it. Tell him what you're watching.
What?
What you're watching on Friday night that I'm gonna have to drink during.
Okay. So I'm getting Steven to watch Celebrity Drag Race,
oh no.
Celebrity-
Awesome.
Mm.
and he loves it.
Oh, I do.
He
Yeah.
fell in love with Mimi Teapot.
Oh
last
yeah.
Friday.
It's the best. It's the best. Telling you. Zach, are you watching anything? Are you lame?
TV? Not really.
Definitely.
He is lame. It's
Yeah,
a true
it's
story.
true.
I mean,
I've
Blood
also
Quantum
been-
just came out today on Shudder, so I'm gonna watch that again.
I've
So-
also been watching Disney food blog because, dear God, I want to go back to Disney so bad.
So, is that the thing that I sent you where they're showing how to make Disney recipes? I
No,
tagged you
no.
on something on Facebook with that.
Yeah, no, Disney food blog is basically like top 10 places to get like best counter service or top 20 rides you want to avoid in 2020. Like,
The
Right,
weird
Here's
thing
5
is the
things you
name
need to
of the-
know before we open up again.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the weird thing about the blog, it's Disney Food Blog, but they don't just cover food. It is really just an entire video blog service based entirely on the Disney parks.
Because
Yeah.
they want you to eat the Disney magic.
Is that online or is
it's
that?
very. It's
YouTube.
online.
Yep.
It's on YouTube. It's super well produced too. It's super good content.
Yeah.
Surprisingly.
I'll look it up. I'm
Remember-
watching a lot of YouTube stuff right
Just
now.
remember, there is free water at Disney.
I'm also going to
Yeah,
say,
but there's
guys,
free soda at Hollywood World.
You mean Holiday World?
Holiday World. Yeah, Hollywood
Yeah,
World.
yeah.
Steven's drunk as shit.
Not drunk as
if
shit.
you guys want to
Not yet.
try a cool 90-day subscription, Quibi.
Oh, okay.
I can't
No,
care about Quibi. It's
I'm
too
good.
short. And it's vertical
I
video.
will say, I also fully watched the Netflix series Love is Blind, which is absolute trash TV, but I
I still
loved
haven't
it.
watched it. I hear it's
I
good.
love that. Lauren and Cameron,
Response.
life goals.
Oh my God, Mark
You got
way
Steven
too
and me
good
to
for
face palm at
Jennifer.
that point.
or Jessica.
Oh.
Jessica was
Jessica,
not good
34,
enough
is
for
All
me.
right, all right,
equivalent to
all right,
COVID-19.
All right, this is not even like interesting right now.
Isn't it though? I'm interested.
I'm not.
This
I'm
is a
ready
preview
to
to
go.
our drunk
Everybody.
nights.
This is
All right,
great.
it is great. All right, you guys. I did get another warning, so we'll wrap this guy.
All
up.
right.
We will see everybody next week.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.